All right. So today's topic, we are going to learn about data blending. Okay. So right now, till date, we have seen in our sessions how to use only single data source, right? So right now we have connected with one Excel file. Yes, if I go back to the data source page, so this is the global superstore data set what we have connected with, and we have used this table as order master data. Okay. Now, let's say we want to use two different tables, or let's say two different Excel files, and we want to use both the files in the same, as a, same workbook to create the visualizations according to the different databases. All right. So I'll close this. I'll start it once again and we'll take another data sources. Let's go back to the Tableau notes. All right, if you see, I have got, there are two files that is coffee chain and office city. Okay. So before connecting to these files, let me walk you through with, what exactly and how it works. I'll open up Word just for explaining you. Okay. Let's consider we are running a business, or a client is running two different businesses. One is he is running his coffee chain. Yes, coffee chain. Okay, where you have got different materials and different products, and it is a different chain business. Okay, and the one more is opposite of it, which is office city. Office city means here related to the stationery items. Okay, so it is selling stationery items. Here it refers to your golden beverages. Okay, so obviously the data is maintained, or data is stored in different format or files. Okay, the same way when you talk about stationery items, again it is a different. So again we are going to see the data set into be another format or another file. Or file type. Okay, maybe in terms of flat files, servers, or cloud. But now we are talking about data blending. So data blending refers to where we are, we have to use both the data sets to get a result, where the scenario is like client wants to know overall business sales and profit from both the business, what is running, overall sales and overall profit. Okay. Now, before getting connected with Tableau, what we do is first we need to understand the data set. First, we need to understand what exactly we have to create it. Okay. If I say like office city. Okay. So this is the office city data, what we have. Okay. So this is the data where we have got like row IDs, client ID, client name, goods category, goods subcategory, goods name, region, state, city. Yes. And we have got zip codes, sales, profit, order, ID. Okay. The same way, I'll just open the another one, that is coffee chain. So when I say coffee chain, again, here the product subcategories and categories, everything would be different. Let's check with that as well. Yeah, if you see this, I've got different fields now as the business is different. So here We have got territory where it is running its business like central, east, western, south, like it is a major and small territories. It has divided into two parts, or let's see how many parts. So major and small. When you say territory, we have got central, east, south, and west. And here, when you talk about products, so these are all related to coffee and tea products. We have got beans as well, leaves, coffee, espresso, herbal tea, and tea. Okay. So here it is running its business with the states. Okay. And so on. We have got all these measure fields. And it is running with the countries. Let's check with the country, United States. If you compare with this particular data set, so let's check the country over here. So here we don't have any. Let's say country. So shift space bar, select the whole column, control F, and type country to find the column. So we are not having any column related to country. Or is there any other name? No. So we have got here region, state, city, and zip code, not the country over here. Okay. All right. Now let's start to connect. I'll close this. I'll close this as well with different files. All right. Now let's begin. Let's connect to the data source. I can connect from here as well. The basic what we do is we go to the Excel, click here. We'll go to the specific folder where we have stored it. So under Tableau notes, we have, let's say data source blending. Yeah. So let's first consider like Office City. I've connected to the first Office City. I'll click on open. So this is the basic thing what we do. So right now we have got only one table. So automatically it drags into your canvas. Okay. Now here we are able to see is like 9,426 rows with 13 fields. We'll come back to the sheet one. Okay. If you see, we have got city, we have got state and zip code over here. All right. If I say count, how many counters? Like 9,426. Okay. Now, what was the criteria? What was the requirement in terms of creating the reporters? Like he wanted to know the overall business. Both overall means here, both the business of coffee chain and Office City. He wants the overall business sales and profit. Okay. So once you say business as sales and profit, we would require to blend both the data set. So, okay. Now, when I say region, first we'll cross check how many regions we have. We have got central, east, south, and west. So 4 regions. Now I can click on this icon which says new data source. When I click it, I'll get the same UI, that is a home page over here. When I click on Excel, I'll go with coffee chain and click on open. Now here I've got sheet 1, 2, 3. Let's say my data of orders is stored into sheet 1. When I drag it, I'll get all this, what we have seen already into our Excel file. When I come back to the sheet 1, the first difference what you see is you'll find here 2 data sets now. So before moving on to the jumping into the, creating the visualizations, first we'll see what all options we have here. Right? When you click on Office City, you'll get all your dimensions and measures related to that particular data sets and fields of Coffee City. When I click on Coffee Chain, I'll get all the Coffee Chain, tables related dimensions and measure fields over here, right? Pills before dragging into the view, which becomes fields. All right. Now, when I say Office City, when I drag the state, so what I'm understanding in the Office City is I've got 49 states. Yes. And the same way I'll go to the coffee chain. I'll first find what are the common fields. So here also we have got a state. So here it is running business for 20 states, or it may be running more, but as per the data, we have got the data of 20 states of US. All right. So we got confirmed that there is a one common field called state in both the data set. One more thing, if you have observed, here we have got as region field name, and here in the coffee chain, we have got as territory, right? So both means the same, only there is a naming convention change, right? Naming convention changed. All right. So before moving to the creations, first we'll understand what is data blending and why and what is using. So first thing we came to know, we want to use two data sets of same type, two data sets of same type. Same type means here Excel. Okay. The data set is in a form of Excel, both. Okay. Second, what we want to use both the data set fields, both the data set fields to create and provide the requirements of provide overall business details related to sales and profit. Let's consider. All right. Now coming to the execution part, the first basic rule is we should have a common field in both the data sets. So for example, what we came to know that was like state with same name, second region and territory. Right? And territory. Okay. Now, how it works here is whenever you have got a common field, right? A common field in both the data set, we can merge them. What we can do? We can merge them. So we are going to merge them. Let's see the one by one step over here, how to do it. Now here, when I say office city, when I drag the state, I've got 49. From the coffee chain, when I drag the state, you see here I'm getting a symbol of linking field. What does it mean? Here it has identified that both the data set has a common field and that one of the field is state, where it is linking it with your another data source, which is office city. When I drag this, you see, it starts to identify the common values of states, that is common states, state names, values, California, Colorado, right? So by this way, we have got all the list mentioned in both the businesses, both the states, but here some of them are null values. Null refers to which is not running its business or the data is not available in current states for the current states, right? Okay. Now, if I do vice versa, if I bring coffee chain first, and then from office city, I bring the state over here. What is the difference you're finding here?
It only takes copy the city first data and then matches that with the coffee chain data. It will only include coffee chain data.
Okay. So if in terms of SQL, if you have to say how you're going to say it, the same thing, if let's say you have got two tables. Yes, you can unmute and answer. Any one of you. So what is the difference you're finding here? Can you explain? Previously, when I dragged coffee chain first state, which were 49, and when I dragged the office city, it were 20. So what is left join?
Yeah, so it includes all the states.
What is left join? What does the left join do?
Takes data from all the states into the left table.
Exactly. So it matches from your left hand side table and provides the same information related to it. If you talk about VLOOKUP, right? Let's say you are applying VLOOKUP, like this is the lookup values, 20 lookup values, and you're searching it from the office city. What will be the answer? You'll get those 20, right? Your rest of the 29 gets ignored, right? In simple terms to explain, we need to keep in mind is, okay, First, what we need to keep in mind is the data source which has more values to in a particular field, more values of a common field, that data source should be considered as primary data source. Okay, that should be considered as a primary data source. Okay, primary data source. What do you mean by primary in Tableau is any data source which you're dragging first becomes primary. So here I have dragged from the office city. You see the check mark blue color. Check the blue color check mark here. If you see, it is called as primary. When I click on coffee chain, I'm dragging the state. You see the color of it. It goes red. So by this way, you can easily come to know which is your primary and which is considered as secondary, right? So what it is? So what I'm stating here is data source which has more values of common field should be considered as primary data source. And the second obviously becomes your secondary data source. So this is what we understood is we need to bring those data set field which has got more values compared to your coffee chain. All right. Okay. Now, same thing when we are trying to bring our region. So when I drag the region from office city, from coffee chain, I am dragging my territory. When I'm doing it, if you see the fields cannot be used from the sheet one coffee chain data source because there is no relationship to the primary data source. Your primary data source is office city. When you drag the territory from the coffee chain, which is secondary data source, right, is not reflected. Why? Because there is no relationship between it. The reason behind is with the field names, the naming convention. So how to resolve it? To resolve this, okay, to resolve this in data tab, you see we have got edit blend relationship. Okay, what is the scenario over here now? Situation is we don't have relationship between fields, both the data source fields, between fields from primary, PD is primary, SD is secondary, from primary data source and secondary data source. So for that, what option we are going to use? Edit blend relationship. Edit blend relationship. So how we are going to do is, let's see. I'll go to the data, click on edit blend relationship. You see, let's consider office city as your primary data source and your secondary becomes obviously left out as coffee chain. Here you see you have got automatic, which state is equal to states, where it is mapping, where it is matching, where it is linking it. You're linking state with the state as it is a common field, right? When I click on custom, I need to click on add and I need to choose those fields which you want to blend the relationship. Let's say here region and here I'm choosing territory. State is already a common field. Here we are blending the relationship because here Tableau is not recognizing territory as region because of its naming convention. And that is the reason why we are using this blending, right? Blend relation, editing the edit blend relationship. Click on OK. Now you see we have got two fields. One is by default state, which was automatically recognized as a common linking field. Now we have linked region with territory. When I click on OK, I've got, now let's see what happens when I drag region. This time, last time it did not apply. Now you see I've got this linking option. When I click it, it starts to link it. When I drag the territory and bring it over here. See, I have got my central east. If I unlink it, let's see again. Okay, this region, coffee chain. Okay, there would be some null values, and that is the reason why it is not reflecting into our view. Yes, as we have linked the state over here. Okay. So in this case, now we have got territories which are mapping to it. Previously, how it was? It was giving an asterisk symbol, which was considering as null, where it was no relationship. Now coming to the requirement. What is the requirement over here? We have got, we need to, what we want is overall business details about what sales and profit. Okay. So let's create the view. Let's say I'll go to the office city. I'll drag the state as, I'll consider this as primary data source because I've got more data as compared to coffee chain. I'll drag the sales. I've got my sales values. Yes, I've got the sales values of office city. Same thing, I'll go to the coffee chain and I'll drag my sales. So you see, it shows greater than 29 nulls. What does it mean? Most of the states are not available. Yes. So see, these are all your states where it is not running its business or we don't have the data right. All right. So what we want, what is the result? It should be now your 1,161,721, which means 11,61,722 plus 96,892. Right? What we want to merge this. We want to add this values with this. So how to do it? Choose your primary data source or click on this drill down key, reversal triangle, and choose create calculated field. We'll make use of now calculations over here to get our result. So we are going to create a field now. Now I'll mention this as overall sales. Let's mention it as like overall sales. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag the sales from office city. So whenever you drag a measure, we need to aggregation, that is by default aggregation is sum of sales plus coffee chain sum of sales. Right? See, when you drag it, automatically it states sum sheet 1 coffee chain. It mentioning from which data source this sales belongs to. All right. So this sales is from your primary, which is your office. Click on apply. Okay. Now you see you have got your sales field created. When I drag and bring it into the view, see. So these are the final overall sales. And this is one of the data source of office city. This is of your coffee chain. And this becomes your merged overall values. All right. So this becomes our overall sales. All right. But if you see, there is a challenge over here. The thing is, here there are null values. It is considering as null. But the result should be, here the result should be 18,465 when you are merging it. Now what happens in Tableau is, when you consider it as null, right? Anything which you aggregate with null is null. So in that case, what you'll do, we have to convert this null into 0, right? We need to convert this into 0. To do that, what we'll do is, again, we'll go back, edit the calculated field. And here, let's say if I don't know which function is, used to give the result. Here, when you click it, you'll get your list of functions available.
Is
If I
the
go to the
function
last function, which is Zn. So here you'll get the syntax, definition, and with an example. What it states, the definition returns expression. Your expression is sales here. And if it is not null, otherwise returns 0. So anything value, it reflects with value. If it is null, then it will convert into 0. Okay. So I need to apply Zn here or here. Tell me.
second one, sir, second one.
Right, the second one, because coffee chain has got null values. Okay. So you're gonna write Zn before sum of sales or after, in between sum of sales?
In between sum of sales, sir.
Yes?
Before before some
Yes, before sum. Zn, open bracket, and give here closing bracket. If you see this, it states expected closing parenthesis or a comma while phrasing argument list for Zn. So one more closing parenthesis. Now you see one dependency field. Okay, so one field is dependent upon the other. Click on apply. Okay, you got your results. So this all the null values got converted into 0. So 18465 here you are getting your complete total. Now in this case, what you can do, if you want to show only overall sales, you'll just remove both the sales outside and you'll provide this as overall value. Clear? This is how you are going to merge with the help of calculated field. The same thing we can do it for profit. How? Same thing we have to do. Just we can duplicate this. Just I'm creating in another view so that it will help us to understand much more clear. All right, I'll drag this overall sales outside now. I'll bring the profit from Officity. And the same thing I'm going to do it from Coffee. Now I've got 2 columns. Now if you check, I've got the null values again over here. So I'll go to the Officity. I'll just duplicate it. And here I'll rename this as profit. Now here I'm just going to change, instead of sales field, I'm going to drag profit in between. So you see, whenever you drag your secondary, data source measure, you're already getting it by default as sum.
Profits in some instances.
It by default, it shows like sheet 1, coffee chain profit.
I don't think your profit is really.
Click on apply and okay. So overall profit, we are getting the overall profit over here. So when I go back to the Officity, when I drag the profit, see, I'm getting all my details. I can just pull this out and I can find all my respective profit details of both the business when you merge both the business, right? So by this way, you can create your views using both the data sources by dragging and dropping, and you can create the, comparison views of both the business. As we are showing overall sales and profit, if you want to show the individual, you can create different views, right? And you can showcase into your visualizations. Okay. So this is how data blending works, where you have got the same data source and we have seen how to blend the relationship, right? How to blend the relationship. Here you see, you have got both the data sources where you can refresh simultaneously, whichever the data has got updated according. All right. So under data, you'll find both the data sets. These all features, what you're able to see is are available under data source page also. From here also, you can make use of. All right. So practice it today. I'll be sharing this recording. Okay. And any doubts, just ping me at any point. All right. So today we have
Okay,
learned
sir.
about the data blending. Tomorrow, let's check about sets. Okay. How to make use of sets.